Yes, I would. I think it's been shown to work in other areas. I also think one of the things that we look at anytime we're doing changes is you always have to look at the budgetary implications. I think this is one where there is very little budgetary implications for us. It's a matter of having the will at the staffing at the animal shelter to do it. And I think it's something that will set us down the philosophy of making sure there's not animal cruelty here in the county, and will reduce our kill rate. I mean, if we can neuter, trap, make sure they're safe, let them go back out. I mean, most of the times we're dealing with cats that are, I have one in my neighborhood that we call it the neighborhood, the neighborhood cat goes from my house to my neighbor's house. And my kids absolutely, put food out there, love the cat, look forward to seeing my wife does. So as with a family of animal rights folks there, they'll make sure I'm on the straight and narrow. But this is something that they feel strongly about, and I think that we can do it, and we can do it in a way that is not going to, hurt the budget.
Well, first and foremost, I believe in implementing and working on implementing policies that are best for the public safety, for the safety of the animals in Prince George's County as a whole. Best practices have shown in some jurisdictions that this is a great policy, ensuring that caretakers are in place. I think with the rural population, the rural area and the population of animals here in Prince George's County, that's something we must consider. I myself live in the rural tier of Prince George's County, and I'm very familiar with this program and the concept of the program. I think at the end of the day, it's what's best for the county and public safety here in our county. I look forward to working with you on that.
I'm open to it. I think we always have to balance the interests. We always want to maintain public safety, but also have humane, healthy outcomes for the animals. So I'm open to that policy if it is in fact working, which, from all indications, or at least some of the feedback I get, it is. Then I think it might make sense as a standard we might adopt. Even if we perhaps try to pilot it for a while to see what the outcomes are, if it is balancing the interests between maintaining public safety but also having healthy outcomes for animals, it might, I think it could make sense. So I might look at piloting it for a while to see what kind of feedback we get from adopting that type of policy.
I think this is definitely a policy that we need to look at. I need to sit down and look at with our animal department. I need to look at it with your group to see, is this the best policy for our county? But what I do believe in is that I don't think a policy of killing animals is the best policy to control the population of the animal. In this particular case, the TNR policy is a neuter policy which keeps the population of cats down, but it still allows that cat, which happens to be a wild animal, just much like a squirrel, a rabbit, or what have you. There's no policy out there that goes out and says, we need to trap all rabbits, we need to trap all cats, trap all squirrels and kill them. But in this particular case, we see that our cat population is one that we do want to control, but we also need to remember that our cat population helps us control other populations that we do not necessarily want, such as rodents. So that's something that we need to remember as we institute this policy. So TNR is definitely a policy that we need to look at and see if that's the best policy to enact. But I can say this, I'm not going to enact a policy that says we're supposed to go out, round up all cats, or round up all dogs, and kill them. We need to go back to Mr. Wilson's policy, which is bring in animals, find them a home, allow them to be adopted. And in this particular case, if they're a wild animal such as a wild cat, then that adoption does not necessarily have to occur, but they need to be returned to the wild for them to continue living as they've done already.
If elected to the office of county executive, what changes would you commit to make to county policy that would improve the environment in the county for people and animals that would capitalize on the principle of the link?
Well, one of the things I want to make sure we get the right people in running our animal shelters, but also putting together a committee. I know there are some issues with the way the committee works right now, but making sure we have the best philosophy so that we have safety in Prince George's County for our animals, that we understand that having animals in the county, dogs, cats, pets in the home, that actually elevates the quality of life for Prince George's County. And I embrace that my family embraces it, and I embrace it. As far as the link is concerned, I think for us to take advantage of the fact that we're getting information that will not only help us reduce domestic violence, but also may help us reduce cruelty in the household. So making sure that every part of the government understands that there is a link between not only animal cruelty and cruelty in the home, but how we embrace that so that we can make sure that the social services that home may need, the animal protection that home may need is there. And so as county executive, that's one of the things that I will work on. I should also say in the few minutes that I have that I think that's going to be the pet project for, if I can just use that, for not only my wife, but for my daughters who have really shown the way for me in this area. So it'll give them something to raise money towards. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, first of all, I need to correct you. When I'm elected county executive, look, I think it's very important. One of the things I've learned in over my 20 years of experience in law enforcement in Prince George's County, and having been the sheriff who established the first 24/7 domestic violence intervention unit in the mid-Atlantic region, of this country, is that the social ill of domestic violence plagues communities. Empires crumble from within, as they say. So if we have identified that cruelty to animals has been a part and continues to be a growing part of domestic violence in our county, you can trust and believe that my belief in eradicating that social ill will certainly include that. And whatever policies we need to implement, we will do that. We've gone from the county's laws to the laws of the state to implement policies to ensure that we can more effectively serve our community. And I think it's vital that we make sure that everyone understands what the laws are, and so that as we move along, we can eventually eradicate this social ill. So yes, to answer your question, I am certainly interested in always improving the laws that are on the books to better serve our county.